You do care?
Yeah, I do care.
Okay. Well,
I might not look like it
that
sometimes,
that
but
can be debated, but only you know whether you care.
Self-preservation. It's self-preservation when it looks like I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't really know what to think about you sometimes.
Yeah.
All I do know is I like you. You're one of my best friends, and that's just the way it's going to be for the rest of your life. So,
thank you.
Yeah, that's just how that works.
Hey, I have a question.
Everybody needs that. What?
I do have a question.
What?
Did you press record?
Yeah, smart ass. I did press record.
I don't know which button it is.
You don't know what button it is. That's right. That's why. See, you can't. I don't let any of this get close to you because
I can't.
I do very well enough screwing it up on my own.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need two of us messing it up.
No, we don't need two of us.
It would never. We'd never record.
We would never record, and gold would be lost.
Yes.
Like, this is straight gold. This
Yeah,
podcast, No Direction,
yeah.
right there behind you.
Yeah.
This is straight gold. It is. Boom. And you have a guest with us today.
There
is a guest.
Is there?
Would you like to introduce? I don't know what its
Squatch?
pronoun. I don't know what its pronouns are. Maybe you can tell me what are its pronouns. And you want to introduce the guest right behind you?
The guest. I believe that's Sasquatch.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go with a he because I feel like it's more acceptable.
Are you assuming his gender?
I am, because I feel like people feel like it's more acceptable for men to be naked than it is for women to be naked in public.
Why? We are so much uglier naked in public.
You know what
or anywhere.
You know what I don't understand, and why is this a thing?
I don't know.
Men with their shirts off and doing common everyday things. Why do you have to have your shirt off to mow the lawn? Why do you have to have your shirt off to go for a jog? Why do you have to have your shirt off to ride in a Jeep topless during the summer? Why?
Well, why
don't want to look
why
at your
don't you mow the
titties.
grass without your shirt on? Why don't you mow the grass?
Because it's not socially acceptable.
Why don't you rake the yard without your shirt on?
Because then the police would get called. They don't get called when you guys do it. It's a double standard.
Yeah. Well, there is a naked bike ride in Portland.
Yeah. Not that I
have you
want
partaken
to.
in that? Have you ever?
No, I've never.
Aaron,
No,
be honest.
I've got parts where I don't need bike parts to go. No, thank you.
Oh, dear Lord.
I don't even want to go out there. I went to a nude beach once on accident, actually. We were in Tahiti.
On accident.
And the beach is nude beach.
Wait. On accident. Who's we?
Actually, it was my family when I was in middle school.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. And I remember thinking the only people out here comfortable enough to be nude are the ones that I don't want to look at. I mean, good for them for being confident and strong.
Lucky you.
In their own bodies. Well, that's not true. There was a topless beach we went to when we were in France on our cruise in June.
Yeah.
But it's same thing again. It's everybody who was topless of course, all the men are already topless, but the women,
right.
Not necessarily ones with like perky tits or anything, or really great figures. It's all they're very confident, which good on them.
But they're not as confident as all the men because the men have boobs too.
And they do it all the time.
The moobs.
Yeah.
And they expose them gladly, whether they're cutting the grass or raking. Perhaps it's because men have more courage than women.
So
could it be?
What's interesting though is men who aren't comfortable with their body, when they go out to a beach and they wear a t-shirt, they stick out like a sore thumb. You know, it's the opposite double standard situation.
Yeah.
And I hate all of that.
Yeah.
I hate it. A friend of mine.
Just be free, right?
Right. Well, a friend of mine recently told me this, and I won't tell you who this friend is because I don't want to call her out. And it broke my heart. What she was saying is that she's going to go and hang out with people. Now I don't even know if I want to tell you the story. Anyways, she's going to go hang out with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
One of the days is going to be a pool day. She's not comfortable.
Yeah.
But she wants to be comfortable. But she and it goes back to
sure
what our topic of today is friends, right?
Yeah.
You want to surround yourself with people who respect you for who you are.
Right.
I want to be comfortable wearing whatever swimsuit I'm going to wear out in public with you at a beach, at a pool, in a hot tub, whatever, and not feel like you're secretly judging me.
Yeah.
And women do that all the time, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And it hurts, and we're always living in this weird fear of being judged or that we have to protect ourselves for some reason.
Yeah.
And so months before this event, she's already worried about the one day that they're going to be at the pool.
Yeah.
And it hurts my heart because that's unnecessary stress, but I get it. I've been there. I do it now, and not that I've been there, I am there. There's certain situations where you might be going on vacation and it's going to be swimsuit weather or what have you. It's like, oh, I need to go buy these clothes. No, you don't need to go buy those clothes. You already have the clothes.
Right.
It's just almost feel like it's vacation, so you have to buy these new things and to be confident.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's insanity.
Well, and you can speak to this more. I'm obviously not a woman.
But I think men have it too sometimes.
Oh, we do. But the thing is we don't care so much. And I think I have a theory why, and this is not originating in my own brain. It's just from talking to my wife, and I have a sister. Women don't dress for men, as what is my understanding. They dress for one another because women are constantly looking at one another. Not all women, but they're comparing themselves, not to men, when it comes to the way they dress or their figures or things like that. They're comparing themselves to other women. And because other women tend to be more vocal about those areas of fitness, or whether you're larger or whether you're thinner, whether you're in shape or not, whether you're wearing cheap clothes or cute clothes, and do they compliment you? There's all these layers of judgmentalism. And I don't mean that in judging others is not a bad thing. We do it every day. It's when we do it inappropriately that causes harm. But women judge each other a lot by the way that they look and the way that they carry themselves. A lot of that's appropriate, but then it seems to bleed over into, not, oh, good Lord, did you see her kind of a deal. And I think one of the reasons, I can't speak from a man's point of view, we struggle, like, I'm fit and I don't like to take my shirt off.
Yeah.
And people say, well, why not? I mean, you look fine. I'm like, yeah, but I don't feel fine. I have shortcomings, right? So, but I think the reason men are a little bit more apt to do that is because we don't judge each other that way. Now, where men judge each other that way is, hey, man, what do you do for a living? How much money are you making?
Oh.
Hey, what does your wife look like?
Sure.
We have those shallow judgments. So it's just two different planets. You guys judge each other in a certain way, but we judge each other in a separate way. We don't give a rip what we look like in public for the most part.
Yeah.
Because we don't care what other women think because we're married. We already know what our wives think. Heck, they married us.
Right.
Right? But what Frank thinks, I mean, can you imagine me going up to Lloyd and saying, Lloyd, you look good in them jeans? We just don't do that. You know what I mean?
Well, I was getting ready to
Jeremy looks pretty good in his jeans, but I
boom, chicka,
love
wow,
you, brother. Boom, chicka, wow, wow. Yeah, but would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah. Well, I was getting ready to go somewhere the other day. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was changing from the clothes I was in to the clothes I needed to be in to go do this thing. And it was late afternoon.
Yeah.
I think we were just going to go to dinner or something, like Mexican food, like nothing fancy. I just need to put on clothes. And I said, oh, I got to throw on some comfortable clothes because I think I was in uncomfortable clothes, like dressier clothes earlier.
Yeah.
And I looked at Mike and I said, do you need to change? And
my wife says that to me.
Yeah. Well,
that means, are you going to wear that?
Well, he was in his work clothes, and his work clothes is a collared, tucked in shirt.
Yeah.
And nice slacks and some nice shoes, right?
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he goes, why would I need to change? I was like, oh, well, I wasn't sure if you were comfortable. And he goes, I'm going to stop you there. I don't wear anything that's not comfortable. I don't care. First and foremost is comfort, and then it's fashion, where I think a lot of times women are the opposite. As I get older, I choose comfort over fashion more so than other times.
Yeah.
But I also feel like a lot of this self-pressure of what other people think stems from when we were children too.
Oh, sure.
So growing up, a lot of little girls hear all the time, you can't wear that. Don't wear that. It's not appropriate if you wear that thing. You're showing too much skin. Like we hear it all the time. But the clothes that we have to choose from that are fashionable are the same clothes that we've always been told not to wear.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You're going to distract people in school. I don't give two shits about what Johnny thinks about my spaghetti straps in school. If he's distracted, he needs to fix his own shit.
Yeah.
It's not my problem to make sure that he's not distracted. No, I think that there are appropriate clothes to wear in certain situations.
Depending on the context,
For
right?
sure. But I don't feel like it's a woman's job
Yeah.
to make sure that men, boys, whatever, are not distracted. That's your job to figure out.
Yeah.
So I think that insecurity kind of within ourselves, in our own personal spaces, kind of stems a little bit from that. And then we are constantly judging each other. And I think it's because we grow up with, the magazines that say, these are the things you got to do in order to be successful, in order to look pretty, in order to have a good opinion.
And they've started putting more fuller figure women on magazines and things like that.
Thank goodness.
There's a lot of blowback on that, even from other women.
Oh,
but
I love
that's
it.
Because
I'm down for it. I mean, I'm drinking my McDonald's milkshake right now, and I have zero shame doing this live out here. I hope the world sees it.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about men being distracted, if you knew what I know about how men think, women should be free to dress however they want. But if you know how men can think, and a lot of them do, a lot of them are sexual deviants, uncovered, and nobody knows, that I think it's important to realize how men think, because if you're dressing in a way that is setting that sexual deviant off, you're contributing to the problem indirectly. And so where do you draw the line on what we should all wear? Like, I don't think anybody should police that, but I do think it's important that because men, by and large, are the most sexual deviant humans on earth. It's typically not the women at all. It's the men. And a lot of them can be very dangerous. I know this. I've seen these guys. And knowing that, I do regulate to some degree what my daughter walks out of the house wearing. Not because I want to limit her freedom, but because I want to limit what she triggers in evil men. And so there's that consideration. But that's just something each individual has to weigh. And I think everyone should be aware that there are men out there like that. In no way am I saying, and I've heard actually men say this, that, well, she wouldn't have gotten, raped or abused had she been dressing more modestly.
Right.
That is that is so
bullshit.
Absurd. It is completely absurd. And I'm not even saying she contributed to that. What I'm saying is there are evil men who are triggered by certain styles, exposing styles of women's clothing. I just think it would be safe for women to know what evil men think and how they're triggered that way. Women are not the cause of that problem.
Thank you for saying that, because
Absolutely not.
We have.
But do you get both sides of what I'm saying?
I understand. Yes, absolutely. And it's very sensitive, because
It is.
A woman, like I was saying before, it's not my job to control your urges. I can walk around naked if I want. It doesn't mean I'm inviting you over to even have a conversation with
100%.
me. But we are so tired of feeling like a victim all the time. I mean, I go to a bar. The first thing I do is scan the bar for two things. One, men who may be a problem, and women who may need me to just keep an eye out for them. So I look for both of those things.
Yeah.
And so I never truly get comfortable at a bar because my head's on a swivel the entire time. It doesn't matter who I'm with. I can be by myself. I can be with a group of girlfriends. I can be with my husband.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm constantly swiveling my head.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so we're tired of being victims. Like when I walk in a parking lot at night, I've got my car keys between my fingers, just like this, so that if I'm going to punch you, it's going to hurt. It's going to cause damage.
Yeah.
The first and foremost is going to cause damage. And we're constantly thinking of these things.
Yeah.
And it's freaking exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a bouncer for 3.5 years in the largest country bar in Oklahoma. I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's what we were trained to do. In fact, you may have seen me. I was on the new Roadhouse movie. I was the guy.
Great transition.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't really want to blow.
Were
I don't really want to draw attention to myself.
Were you the skinny kid that was freaking adorable that Jake Gyllenhaal like kind of trained the first day? You got this. Just take one step back from that knife and then step in and punch him in the face. And he totally does it flawless as if he'd never practiced it in his entire life.
No.
Are you talking about that
I haven't
scene?
I haven't seen the movie. There's been mixed reviews on it.
You haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet. But look, we have gone off track.
It's terrible.
I was in the middle of saying something really important.
Okay, go ahead.
Until you brought up Roadhouse Part 2. Or Trash House or Crack House or Trap House is what I've heard it's called. That's the reviews I've seen.
It's terrible.
Is it that bad?
Okay,
hold your thought.
Okay.
Now that I asked you the question, I won't let you answer it.
Okay.
What was I? Oh, I worked in the largest country bar in Oklahoma. There was live bull riding inside. But one of the things we were trained
That's
on
so
is
awesome.
to know what the look of distress is on women. We were also trained because men victimize women in certain ways in a bar or predatory, whether it's illegal predatory or not, typically not. 9 out of 10 guys that are in that bar are trying to get laid. They want to go home and get laid tonight. There is no other reason they're there. They say, I'm here just hanging out with some friends. You're wanting to go home with somebody. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. To each their own. That's bar. That's why they call them a meat market, right? Mm-hmm. Women, on the other hand, typically are looking for the same thing, but they're targeting guys who have money. And so it goes both ways, but one is harmful in one way, the other is harmful in another way. And these are not things that a bouncer or anybody else is going to prevent. However, there have been times, there was a Hall of Famer baseball player. I'm not going to name Mickey Mantle's name. I'm not going to say who it is, but he may or may not have relatives that I had to encounter. A relative that I had to encounter in this bar who inappropriately touched a woman. And they were all drunk. Okay. That's no excuse, right?
No, it's not.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
No excuse.
Zero excuse.
Zero excuse. I approached said individual, said, you have to leave. And he said, don't you know who I am? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what I said. Let's just put it this way. He ended up being thrown out the back door because he wouldn't leave willingly. But the point of that story is there must be people out there willing to protect women. Not that they can't protect themselves, but we are a little bit different biologically. And I don't want to get into that whole thing, right?
Sure. but I mean, having allies is having people.
Guys don't walk to their car with their keys in their hand like that.
Right.
That's because, well, we just have a different mindset. Mm-hmm. It's on like Donkey Kong, and there may be some fear, but not enough fear to, and I'm not saying guys don't, I'm just saying that we're wired a little bit differently in that one of our responsibilities, in my opinion, mm-hmm. is to protect women, whether they need the protection or not, whether they want it or not. We should be there to keep them from danger.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's, some people say, well, that's kind of sexist. Well, okay, well, here's the deal. If I am physically built, mentally built to be violent, if I need to be, you want me in your corner if something's going down with you. And so I think it's our responsibility to have the capability to be who we need to be to protect both men and women.
Sure.
But
well, I think it's important until society as a whole mm-hmm. start taking the word no seriously. Mm-hmm. Women need men to say, no, what you're doing, what you're saying, your actions are not okay. Mm-hmm. And that's not how you behave as a man.
Yeah. And
I think we need more allies to stand up and say those things because women will say it.
Yeah.
But it falls on deaf ears.
Yeah.
And so the more men that we have that can say these things, the more allies we have that stick up for us, that just say, no, I disagree. This is not okay. There's a viral reel going around. Well, it's on TikTok and on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And there's a guy who is a like a relationship coach. So he has dubbed himself. And in his video, he says a woman's first no is never no. And then what happens is, I've never seen the original video. Then what happens is there's a lot of influencers who are men who break into and stitch in and say their own opinion, where they say basically,
yeah, it's like a side by side.
Yeah. No, you're wrong. As soon as a woman says no, as soon as she indicates she's not interested, peace out, buddy. The first no is the only no that matters.
Yeah.
Because there shouldn't be a second or third or fourth no.
Yeah.
The first no is the one that matters. And I have seen dozens of influential, on TikTok and Reels, influential men who have huge followings stitching that video saying, actually, I disagree. It is not okay what you're doing, and it's not okay what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think we as women need more men on our side that say those things, who break those barriers down, and also to teach young boys that it's not okay. Because women, we try to teach as best we can that it's not okay. But the more that kids see these things in society, the more what we say goes on deaf ears, because they're actually seeing the opposite in practical application.
Yeah. Well, I teach all of my kids. I have a 26-year-old, she's out of the house, but the two that are in the house, she's 17 and my son is 13. And I teach them both this: no means no, period, when you're dealing with each other. And even my daughter, because women are now more aggressive than they ever have been when they seek men. And no doesn't always mean no to them either. And they're very powerful, they're very assertive, and so are boys. And so what I teach them is I say, hey, how many people are on this earth? And my 17-year-old, they both know, about 8 billion. More than half are women. If he or she says no, move on.
Yeah.
Period. No questions asked. But shouldn't I be persistent? Listen. No, you should not be persistent in other things and work and challenges and other, but we're talking about the realm of human relationship. When someone says no, that is a no. Move the heck on. And here's the deal. If he or she changes their mind, they will let you know.
Sure.
And then you can recalibrate things. But no means no, period. I don't know, I saw a comedian once, I think it was Bill Burr. He says, no doesn't ever, the first no doesn't mean no. Oh, hey girl, you want to go out? Oh, no, stop it. Now, as a female, I'm not a female, but as a female, I just said, oh no, stop it. That doesn't mean no to us. That's like, oh, stop it. That means keep going.
You want to know why we say that?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Enlighten us cavemen on why you guys say no, but you don't really mean no when you say it that way. How do we know the difference?
We're scared to offend you, and then we're scared that you'll be violent towards us. So,
okay, well, my wife does that, and that means keep chasing me.
Well,
like, how do we know? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I get it. I get it. And it can be confusing when it's a polite, playful no.
Yeah. But that's far and few in between.
But
that's
no just needs to be no. And if they truly meant it as a polite, playful, like, come get me, then maybe they'll pursue you later. Maybe that's their game. I don't know. Yeah. But no should be no, period. And we say it in a polite, playful way.
Yeah.
Because when women are out in public or out in any situation, we are always on guard, and we are always on the defense. Always. We're never on the offense. Very rarely. There's very few women who are on offense. Most of us are on defense. And when somebody comes up to us and says something, specifically a man, we are more worried that we will get hurt. Or
like physically hurt?
Yes. So I heard the best quote, and the best quote was, men are constantly afraid that women will make fun of them. Women are constantly afraid that they're going to get raped. And I get that it feels really uncomfortable to men to be made fun of and to not feel like they're confident or comfortable in a situation. But women play off and are coy and aren't assertive because we're afraid that we're going to anger the man. He might walk away, whatever. He's not going to take no as an answer, and he's just going to come right after us. But it's going to be when we're off guard, when we're on our way to the bathroom, when we're on our way to our car, whatever, they're going to wait. And so we say, no, thank you, or no, it's okay, and have a smile on our face so that we're politely letting you down so that you won't retaliate later. We're honestly always afraid.
And I think that's the right response, especially if you don't know the man, whether the man, I mean, nobody knew Jeffrey Dahmer was eating people. He looked like the next door nice guy. So
Right.
I understand where you're coming from. I hear what you're saying. And I think the right response when rejecting a man, because one of the things that drives them nuts and angers them the most is disrespect and rejection.
Sure.
And both of those are kind of two sides of the same coin. And you never know who you're rejecting, and so how the rejection comes across is very important because, and I wasn't a police officer long, but it's, I don't know that I've seen a lot of where a female would disrespect or reject a man politely that he flew off the handle. It was when they rejected him politely, then he was persistent and he pushed. She finally says, look, really no, thank you though. And then he pushed again, and she becomes angry and more assertive, meeting his level of really probably internal aggression. And then it pops off because he knows he's more powerful. He knows that he can take advantage, and no one's going to tell him no. Now, I love that attitude. Nobody's going to tell me no. I'm going to achieve. But I don't like it in human relationships when it comes to these types of a goal. A business goal, perfect, love it. You will succeed. But in this, there's no place for it. In my opinion, there's just no place for it. So that makes sense to me how you guys are how you gals are very well aware of and even afraid to a large degree of how to say no. Even if you say no politely, this could lead to something.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no right way for us to say no.
Yeah. I can't even fathom what that feels like because as a male, I don't have any of those fears. You know, I just don't. It's not because I'm better or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, that's just the woman's world that's why they call it a woman's world. It's a whole nother world than what men, and our world is a whole different world. And one of the difficult things for us though, as men, is the lines are blurred about what a man is. What is a man? Oh, most people can't even tell you what a woman is. Define woman. They can't do it. And because
like,
it's
are you
all
sensitive? Are you assertive? Are you? Yeah.
Well, those are just feminine qualities, as they would say.
Well, I was talking about it for a man.
Oh,
but I mean, it goes both ways.
See what I'm saying, right?
Yes, like, absolutely.
If a man is strong and assertive and a protector and a provider, all of a sudden he's misogynistic. Yet this is exactly what's kind of man that's called for, to protect our country, to protect the people in it. And there are groups out there that make things to each their own. I don't care what they believe or what they say. Everybody has a right to their beliefs and what they say. But the lines are blurred between what a man is by definition, and therefore what a man should be is completely convoluted. And that's where our culture is taking everything. Again, there are people who can't tell you what a woman is, but they can tell you what a man is. It's like, well, wait a second. You know, it's just a really difficult time. And the important thing, I think the most important thing, is that men and women work together for a common purpose. No matter what you're identifying and all that stuff, we must live to learn and love and to respect each other for who we are, whether we agree or not. And you and I are alpha examples of that. You and I are the example for the rest of the world. And so to all my friends out there, I want to give a shout out to my biggest inspirations. David Ligatich, Joshua Hawks, Jeremy Book, Brian York, Jared Jaden, all my homeboys out there on the right and on the left side of the aisle. Love all you guys. You know what? You know what I'm doing, right?
What?
You know what I'm doing?
No.
I'm transitioning to the actual subject of today's podcast, which we have not yet talked about.
We went down a tunnel that was super dark. So.
No, it's not dark. It's
well,
good. It's really good.
It is good. It's good. I'm so tired of our culture being victim blaming, or the victim constantly has to be the one who watches out from the aggressor, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lady who, and it's not necessarily, well, it is about the women. Okay. So it's a couple years ago in London. She was murdered. And they didn't know who did it. And so they cautioned all women to walk in pairs or to get home by a certain time and all that. I mean, that really cuts down on my freedom to just be.
Yeah.
You know,
But you didn't have to follow that, right? I mean, was it a mandate or was
it wasn't
a suggestion?
a mandate. It was a suggestion because they needed to find who was doing these things. But then it's, you know, it's the whole thing with don't leave your laptop in your car, right? Hide your laptop. You know, you do these things to keep yourself safe. But as soon as you forget, oh, shoot, I forgot my laptop in my car, you go out to get it, your window's smashed, your laptop's gone. You share it on social media like, hey, you know, in case somebody sees this type of laptop, it's mine. Please let me know. It was just stolen. Victim blaming after victim blaming. Why'd you leave it in your car? That's a stupid thing. Why are you being so stupid?
Valid questions, though, right?
Well, not.
I mean,
I didn't say, hey, I'm leaving this on my car so you can go ahead and help yourself to it. It's not an invitation.
No, but I mean, if it wasn't left in the car, it couldn't have been stolen.
But sometimes we just have absent-mindedness, right?
Right.
Like
so there's responsibility. There's some responsibility there. You didn't cause the crime.
No.
But you did something that triggered a crime. I mean, think about it. You contributed to a degree. You provided an opportunity.
But then that goes to my skirt's too short.
Yeah, that's okay. The skirt that's too short. I see the way you're looking at me.
Right?
No,
so it's all this like the same
We're
type
agreeing.
of.
We're agreeing because if the skirt was too short and that triggered a sexual deviant, and you knew ahead of time how sexual deviants are triggered, yet you did it anyway.
But you didn't have
it coming. You didn't have it coming, but you knew the risk, right?
But I want to wear the shorts.
Right.
But there should. What I'm saying is there shouldn't be the risk.
Well, in a perfect utopia, yeah, but that's never going to exist. There's always going to be evil men and evil women everybody, there's always going to be crime. It's just we have to make choices. Sometimes exercising your full freedom has consequences or potential risks. I have the freedom to walk around in the middle of the street if I want to. And if I get hit by a bus, are you going to say that people can't tell me, you idiot, what were you running around in the middle of Burnside for? No, that's victim shaming. You can't tell me that. You can't say that to me. Well, yeah, I kind of can. I mean, it's not that I caused the bus to hit me, but I put myself in a position where I was at higher risk. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but the bus isn't causing a crime.
Well, you can't
just
run over. Pedestrians have ultimate right of way, whether they're in a crosswalk or not.
That is true.
I don't agree with that.
What were we talking about?
I think you should be able to just
Roadhouse?
Run people over if they're in the street.
Well, that's why there's a point system, right?
In Erin's mind, there's a point system. And who gets the most points? How do you categorize?
The quicker you are, the more points you're worth. The slower you are, it's like almost negative points. If you hit a wheelchair, I think that should be negative points for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, come on.
They're too slow. They can't even get out of the way. You got a bunny rabbit.
Yeah,
you got a bunny rabbit or a bird. You hit one of those things, 100 points.
Yeah, you're right. That is low hanging fruit.
I've hit 2 birds, by the way, on the freeway.
Does PETA know?
I don't know, but man, it's just like in the movie Shrek when they're blowing up the bird. When the bird's singing and it's trying to go real high volume and it goes pop And that, like, and all the feathers fly. That's what it looks like when you hit a bird on the freeway going
Like
70 miles an hour.
Angry Birds, right? It's like Angry Birds.
Yeah,
They
just
hit
boom. They
I
just
missed that game.
they
That
just
was so
explode.
fun. Yeah. We were talking about
Anyways.
Roadhouse, right? I've
We
been trying
were.
to get back to that, but you keep...
Terrible movie. You haven't seen
Really?
it yet? You haven't seen it?
It's really that bad,
It made
huh?
me car sick. So the fight, no, seriously, the fight scenes when they've got like a point of view camera during the fight scenes, so it looks very CGI. But you're right.
no.
You're right in there with it, and it's awkward,
Yeah.
and it moves a lot. So you're watching it, and my brain doesn't like
You know why they do
like
that,
the
right?
spinny moves and stuff on movies where the camera goes in circles. My
You
brain
know
can't handle it.
you know why they do that? They do that to hide bad acting. When they jerk it back, so I'm a fan of pro wrestling. Get her done. I've watched wrestling since I was probably 3. I just enjoy it. It's theater. Yes, I know it's fake. Don't send me emails. We know it's fake. Everything on television you watch is fake too. Okay.
Yes.
It's no less fake than what you watch. Stranger Things, fake. Okay.
Love
We can
Stranger
name anything, even the reality TV shows you watch, fake. Okay. Now I'm done with that. The pro wrestling, if you watch pro wrestling, Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, the cameras, when somebody's about to get slammed to the ground, they jerk back and forth so that you can't really tell that. You can't obviously tell that it's fake. I mean, you know it's fake, but these guys are not very good actors.
This made it worse.
They're stuntmen,
This made it worse.
but that's why they move them fast because
No,
they can't act.
It made the acting worse. It made the fight look that much more fake. The very first person you see fighting in this movie is Post Malone. Posty.
What? Really?
Yeah. He's in a cage
The fat
fight.
guy with the face tattoos?
Yeah, he's in a cage fight. And then Jake Gyllenhaal rolls up and Posty's like, yeah, I'm not fighting that guy. Jake Gyllenhaal is ripped in this movie.
He is pretty ripped. Yeah.
It's crazy. He is cut.
Yeah.
But he had to do that because he had to have a fight scene with Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor, he did not get enough hugs when he was little. I mean, his character in that movie.
Yeah. Vicious. Let me tell you, from somebody who
Insane.
follows Conor McGregor's career, that's me. Dude is not all there. He's a few bricks shy of a load,
Well,
few sandwiches short of a picnic, whatever you want to say.
He's
The
been
dude
hit
is.
too many times in the
He
noggin.
he was like that before he got hit. The guy's nuts. He's bananas.
He is
he attacked
crazy.
a bus. He attacked a bus. Look it up. He attacked a bus.
Okay.
He
I
ain't
mean,
all
that
there.
tracks how he behaved in this
Yeah.
movie.
He didn't have to act in
It
this
was
movie, it
nuts.
sounds like.
He, every vehicle he drives in the movie, he crashes into something just nonchalantly, like this is where it's supposed to be parked, crashed into this, whatever it is.
Really?
It's weird. The movie's weird. I
So,
didn't like the
is
first one
Patrick
either,
Swayze
though.
smiling
I
from
don't
the
know.
grave, or is he rolling over?
I didn't like the first Roadhouse.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. The storyline was too flimsy. It was paper thin. I hated it.
Yeah.
It's always the good guys are in my way, so the bad guys have to cause trouble. Well, in this case, it has to do with real estate. So they're in the Keys, and they're the last holdout. So they've got to give them a lot of trouble. So they'll want to move out, and then I can take their business. I mean, it's the same dumb story every time. And so this guy, they hire the guy to come in, the bouncer.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like they did in the first Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Ask this person to put their life on the line, their literal life,
To save their bar.
to save a freaking bar. What?
You can't be too smart to do that in the first place, right?
I can't get down with it. It was just, I like myself a dumb action movie, but this one was really hard to watch. I chirped during the whole thing. My husband had
you?
been real annoyed. Did he text you, by the way, while we were filming, while we were recording?
Your husband?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
He was supposed
Did
to
he
text
like the
you.
movie?
You should see if he texted you.
What are you doing?
Did he text you?
You're up to something.
Check it. He set himself an alarm and everything, so I'd be very surprised if he didn't.
I have nothing from your husband.
What?
I have nothing from your husband.
He set himself
He probably forgot to take the trash out,
calendar
too.
alarm to remind you to press record.
Oh.
He goes, what time do you guys normally press record? I'm like, well, about 11:45. But you press record early.
I have nothing from your husband. Not
Shame.
a thing.
We could do the old Game of Thrones. Shame.
Shame.
Shame. Shame.
I never got into that.
I'm
never
gonna
watched
go
one
spit
episode.
on him now.
Was it good? Game of
Yes.
Thrones?
It was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
There any Scottish people in that?
Well, it's a fantasy.
The Irish people get so much credit.
No.
What about us Scots? Huh? What about us?
It's a fantasy world, and so there aren't really
Oh.
of this world
Okay.
type people.
Well, all I've got is Rowdy Roddy Piper, who was Scottish from Scotland. Other than that, I got Drew McIntyre, who was a fake wrestling star,
there's literally
wrestling.
25 people that live in Scotland. I mean, it's tiny. It's a tiny amount of people. No wonder why you're not very well represented. I'm sorry.
You're so
I'm not
mean.
sorry.
You're so
I'm not
mean. You're
sorry.
talking about
Not
my
even a little bit.
heritage. I want to know
I
what my
think-
family crest is. I am never wearing a skirt, though. I'll tell you that right now.
It's not a skirt. It's a kilt.
I don't care what you call it.
But
it's a skirt.
You don't wear underwear
If
underneath.
you put it
It's
on a
very
woman, it's a
freeing.
skirt, right? If you put that kilt on a woman, it's a skirt.
But it's a traditional thing. It's different. It is. But if you have you ever done your DNA thing?
Yeah, I did Ancestry. I'm 49% Scot. I was told I was Irish and German my whole life.
Okay. What'd your dad think of that when he found out?
He was shocked too. He's like 40-something% Scottish. So was my mother.
he did
it's
it
like,
too?
what? Or my mother's like 20-something%. My dad's like
Okay.
40-something. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
it was very
I want to
odd.
do it.
You should do it.
I think I'm Irish and definitely Dutch, Irish and Dutch, and then some other things. I think there's a tiny bit of Scottish,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah.
My husband doesn't have to do it. His mom does genealogy, and she has like binders and binders and binders of this genealogy stuff. It's super cool.
They really get into it.
Yeah,
some people.
she has been doing this research since before I met Mike. And Mike and I have been married for 24 years 23 years this year. 24 years? 23 years. We got married in
Wow.
2001.
You guys are old.
I know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No offense.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right here.
What are you looking at?
Scottish.
Oh.
Scotland, 44%.
Okay.
England, Northwestern Europe, 33%. Norway, 12%. Sweden and Denmark, 5%. Ireland, 5%. Finland, 1%. So given the fact that Scotland is this tiny place and nobody lives there, maybe there's like 15 people there.
There aren't very
I
many
am
people
rare.
there.
I'm a 1%.
Ireland too. There aren't very many people there.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know.
What
Yeah.
happened to them? They all live here?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not a very big place.
Look, I'd like to get to the friend topic.
Also, it's darker. It's not darker. It's cold. It's rainy.
Are you being racial?
No,
You mean it's darker?
It's cold
'Cause I'm
and
so
it's
white, I'm
rainy is what I
chrome.
mean.
Yeah, I'm so white I'm clear and chrome. Yeah, let's talk about friends really quick.
Okay.
And I bet that I probably have more friends than you. I can tell you right here on Facebook. This is my Facebook.
Should I look and
Actually,
see?
I will say I have no friends at all on Facebook. Did you know that? Not one friend. But I do have 4,400 followers. That says a lot about me.
I have been going through a thing where I've been just deleting people that I don't know, so they come across my feed and they're saying something, whatever. It doesn't even matter what it is. They could be showing their really cute grandkid, and because they randomly came across my feed, I'll look at their profile to see how we're connected. It'll be like something like 150 of your friends are similar.
Mutual friends.
And I'll look through our mutual friends. I'm like, I don't know any of these people, so I delete them. I have 3,000 friends.
Oh, okay.
And it does say friends. 3,000 friends.
Yeah, mine says followers because I turned my profile into like a
Professional?
business. Yeah, professional
Okay.
something.
Yeah, I went
So-
through a thing where I was following a lot of people. I think I got up to the max, which is 5,000.
Yeah, I was close. I got
And
to
then I'm-
4,800.
Then I'm slowly just deleting them because I just got to that point in my life, and
Yeah.
I don't need to have 3,000 friends on Facebook. I don't care that all of them see my things, and I don't really care about what's going on in somebody's life that I don't know.
What do you have lists on your friends? Like there's a certain group of friends. Like I have lists. One's called inner circle or trusted circle, trust circle. And then there's another one called acquaintances. And then there's another one that's just all my friends.
Are you talking about on Facebook?
All friends. Yeah.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
No, I have my family. So different family members.
Yeah.
And then I have friends. But I haven't so you've gone through and categorized them? Is that what you've done?
Yeah. So instead of going through 4,400 different people who are following me or friends, same thing, and trying to figure out who's who, I just took out a piece of paper and I said, who are the people I trust with my very life? I don't care what they see about me. I don't have to be conscious of business and all these other things. I don't have to be conscious of politics and not offending somebody. Who can I give my opinion and state things where I know that whether we agree or not, they're in my circle.
Right.
And that we're that close. And so I wrote those names down and I created a list called Trusted Circle. Then I created another list that is Extended Circle. And those are people that they're not my closest friends, but they're more friends. I go out and have a beer or something with them, have coffee with them or whatnot, but they're people I'm aware of. There are certain things I wouldn't post because I don't want to ruin that. I know that they stand other places and they're super sensitive about those types of things. And so that's more of a reserved friendship, still a good friendship, but it's more reserved. And then I have just friends. That's everybody else, where
more like
these are
business
clients,
acquaintances
these
and
are
things.
people who are clients, people who are not. And if I wanted, for example, I own a business, so if I wanted all my posts to end up on my business platform or on business, what would I want there? And so if it's that safe, then that's what they see. But I do the same thing in real life. My Facebook lists and friends and groups are a direct reflection of how I categorize the people in my life. Do you categorize people in your life? And it's not a judgmental, I mean, it is a judgmental thing, but it's, I only want healthy people in my inner circle. Whether they're good people or not is irrelevant. Do I know you? Do I intimately know you? So I know lots of good people, really good people that I hope to get to know, but they're not in my inner circle. And it has nothing to do with whether they're good or not. It has everything to do with loyalty and respect. And is it mutual?
Sure.
So you can be a really good person, but I don't know that about you yet. You can't come in.
I've never written down a list. I've never been intentional about sitting down and
It's
writing
good
down
exercise.
a list. Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, it's been a weird last couple of months and even weirder last couple of weeks. And some of my friends have been really defined lately, which I'm finding very interesting. And it's mostly because I'm finding out more about myself and the type of people that I tend to surround myself with. And so that's kind of enlightened me a little bit as to just more of what to be aware of when I'm inviting people to be my friend. When you first are my friend, I'm very cautious. I hold you out at arm's length. I'm careful of what I say. There are some people that I consider, I would say, those business friends, that your biggest outside category business friends. And I would say that those are the types of people that I don't feel like they want my opinion. They just want to say whatever their opinion is. They're good to do certain things with or to just be around in like a networking situation, those kinds of things. And then the next circle in of good friends, but not people you would die on the sword for.
Yeah.
People that you might drop things for, maybe dig them out of a ditch or go pick them up if they needed a ride after an oil change, whatever. Like people you would do things for, but not necessarily share some real intimate moments with.
Yeah.
And then there's the ones that you would tell everything to.
Yeah.
And that really inner circle is a lot smaller today than it was a year ago, for
Yeah.
sure. And it continues to shrink as
Yeah.
I learn more about myself. And it's not necessarily a reflection on them, whether or not they're a good person. It's just whether or not we need to be that close to
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, you can be a great person. That doesn't mean we're going to click.
Right.
You know, I've hired people in the past who were fully capable, they were talented, they could do the job, and as effective and as productive and successful as they were or could have been, it wasn't a good fit personality-wise. It wasn't a good fit with the rest of the group. And at that point, you have to part ways, regardless of what your talents are, regardless of there's got to be a chemistry there. So I mean, I've met lots of wonderful people with integrity. Their values line up with mine, et cetera, and their politics line up with mine. And I don't like hanging out with them. I wouldn't tell them anything. But they're good people. Well, why wouldn't you? Well, sometimes I don't have an answer for that.
Right.
It's just that inner thing of that, you know, maybe it's just the wrong time
Sure.
to be your friend or
Absolutely.
whatever. In case in point, and I know we bring this up a lot, is that you and I are great friends. And I think you know that I got you.
Yes, I do.
And we
And I
disagree.
appreciate that.
Well, we disagree. I'm not trying to pat me on the back. I'm just saying it's an example
Well, yeah.
that whether all of my values line up with yours and vice versa, whether all of our politics line up or they don't, you know, is irrelevant to me. It is a chemistry that is not, you can't measure. There's no, like, it just works.
Right.
It just works with us.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. We're so very different, yet we're so much alike. And, you know, what's most important in our friendship, and I can only speak from my end of our friendship, what's most important to me is that you bring joy to my life, a light to my life that I truly don't find anywhere else in anyone else. I have other friends who bring that same light, but it's a different light, and they bring it a different way. You bring a light into our friendship, and it's just so amazing to me because of the things we disagree on.
Right.
Yet the light still shines. It shines bright, and I love our friendship. And it's unlike any other friendship that I have. It's just very unique that way. I think it's beautiful. And it has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with anything else lining up other than two human spirits that somehow, some way, and you know where I sit on this whole supernatural thing,
Yeah.
who somehow, some way connect on an unseen level. And how that works, don't know. No idea.
Yeah.
But it just works.
And I wouldn't even try to figure that out.
No.
There have been people that I look at them across the room and I think, holy cow, I would be such great friends with them. And I hang out with them once. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, nope, totally called that one wrong.
Yeah.
And it's those three circles of friends. I think the innermost circle is I could trust fall at any time. And they got me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You've got me.
Mm-hmm.
You'll catch me. You won't let me fall. That next group out, some may or may not catch me, but they'll be concerned that I fell. And that last group is, most of them would be, I don't really know what's in it for me, so somebody else will check in on her. It's fine.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting as I think about it in those ways, who does fit in with those different circles. And there's some people that I just don't have time for you. You don't get to be in any of these circles.
Yeah.
And usually I don't figure out who they are until they really show it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is a woman thing or if men do this too, but women tend to hang on grudges forever, you know?
Yeah, I think men
and
do
I
that
don't-
too sometimes.
Not sure why. We try to let things go, but then they just fester.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this about pain and rejection and anguish and all of that. And this is something I struggled with, just to be frank and to be transparent, until about 2 weeks ago. I struggle with rage, not anger. Anger is one thing. Rage, Rage is, and I never expressed it, but I kept it on the inside from all the hurt. And why did I hang on to rage? So it was after all the prison stuff, and
Right.
it's been nearly 3 years since all that happened. And I still hasn't had as much rage as I've ever had deep inside of me. I'd wait for people to set me off. And thank the good Lord, nobody did. But, we're all capable of that little light switch flipping, and you become something that you don't want to become. But I hung on to rage and grudges because anger is intoxicating. The power you feel when you're angry is intoxicating. And there's one thing I know about human beings, and that's all of us, is we're constantly seeking and striving after both power and control. Power equals control. Control means you have power. And when we don't feel like we have a grip of power and control, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing to want power and control when appropriate. When we feel like things are out of control, then that anger causes us to control as much as we can, to overcorrect and control and have power over people. And that's where people become abusive, verbally, emotionally, physically. You try to control everything around you so that you can feel secure. It's all grudges and anger and rage. It is all a response from insecurity and feeling weak, that I have a grip on nothing. And anger and rage intoxicate you to the point to where you feel like you have power and control, but you really don't. And I'll tell you what changed for me. This is all I'm going to say.
I was going to ask, what changed 2 weeks ago?
Something I really wasn't expecting. I was at Rise Church. It used to be the old skate world.
Okay.
And I've been in church my whole life, so it's no big deal. I'm sitting there and I'm singing the songs, and all of a sudden I just began to worship God, thank God for everything I have, and just say, "Man, you're so good." And it was the first time since I had been home that I actually got into really connecting with Him in a way that I was grateful and thankful for my life, for my wife, for my family. And I just began to sing the song that was giving Him praise. I didn't know we were going to talk about this. The rage deep inside that likes to hide itself under a rock, but I know it's there. You ever hung on monkey bars so long and your fingers just start slipping until you finally fall?
Sure.
I felt rage doing that, and it lost its grip somehow, not because I let it go, because it was like it was being pulled out of me, not like a demon or something, but it was like being pulled out of me as I was singing. And so I didn't know what was happening, so I just kept singing the words, and it left me. Whatever it is, I'm not one to say what it is or what not.
Sure.
But rage left me. That was 2 weeks ago. It's been nowhere since.
Wow.
It hasn't come back. Will it? I don't know. It's gone. And I can't fully explain that.
Sure. Well,
but it's gone. The grudges are gone.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is complete. I'm completely at peace for the first time. And it happened in an old skating rink, so, but the thing, Erin, is I didn't have the power to get rid of it. It was beyond my strength. Something else had to do that for me and clean the house. And I attribute that to God, of course.
Sure.
And, grudges are really hard to let go of because anger is always a response from pain. Mm-hmm. You're never angry without pain involved. You hurt my feelings, you disrespected me, that hurt, therefore I'm angry. Anger always comes from pain. And 2 weeks ago, I think, I'm not saying my pain's gone, but the rage that had taken root deep inside of me, little gardening got done, I think. The weeds got pulled, so to speak.
Sure.
Can't explain that, but I mean, I have my explanation, but in the end, it was something I couldn't get rid of. And I think grudges are the same way. I think something outside of ourself has to take care of that, because when we take care of it, then it just keeps coming back, because our strength is, in my opinion, we're not sufficient to do all the gardening. I don't think we possibly can, which is why we get in these cycles of grudges and abuse and anger and all these things. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I'm, like you say all the time, you and I have very different feelings on religion. It doesn't mean that I don't believe that you believe and that you have faith. And I'm really thankful that you have that, and it is very powerful. And I'm glad that your faith and God has provided you with solace, with peace.
Yeah.
And that's truly incredible.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that, because, we respect each other very much, regardless of where we stand on all these issues. It is a respect that I hope the people out there, that they have a small circle of friends too. And you said it is shrinking, and it has shrunk so far, and you know what? I'm glad to hear that, because mine does too. When I went through my hell, man, the people I thought who were in my corner always would be abandoned me. Not all of them, but sure. I thought this person, this person is a split. He's been there. He knows how this feels. Cut bait with me.
Yeah. Wow.
One of my best friends cut bait with me. And then people I thought, oh, they're definitely going to cut bait with me, even though I didn't do anything. I know that they're going to cut bait with me. I just know it. Stood by me the whole way. And all of a sudden, when the crap goes sideways, you know who's who. And you never forget.
Right.
You never forget.
It's
lots of surprises.
Sometimes I feel that when things happen in your life that you don't expect, and it kind of weeds out those people who are not ride or dies, even though what you had to go through is painful, on the other side, there's a little bit of a positive silver lining into that. Now who you can trust. Yeah. Who your real friends are. Who will stick with you no matter what. Yeah. Who may hear rumors about you. Yeah. But you know who they're going to go to first to find out if they're true or not is you. They're not going to go listen to somebody else, because they respect you enough to come over to you and say, hey, I heard this, this, and this. Can you share more with me about these things? Yeah. Because I would love to hear your side of the story. Yeah. And there aren't very many people, I would suspect, in anybody's lives that do that. I would suspect that a lot of people, their real, true inner circle is very small. And if it's not very small, I think that they probably haven't gone through something to weed some of those people out. And those people might not even know who they are that are hanging out in that small circle until that thing happens to weed them out. It's not like they're there for any ill will. That's not what I'm saying. But it's interesting when you have these life-changing events and to see the people who are left behind. People always say, like in a hypothetical scenario of violence or zombie apocalypse or whatever, these are the things that I'm going to do, and they start listing them off. And that's great in theory, but when you go to apply it in a practical application situation, whole different. You truly never know how you're going to behave, right? Yeah. And it's like watching what's that zombie movie with Rick, or TV show?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. It's like in The Walking Dead, it's And I know that it's a fake story. It's all fiction, but it's like in The Walking Dead. It's you think certain people are going to do a certain thing based on their background. But then the ones who truly step up are the ones that kind of surprise you. Like the meekest person from the very first couple of episodes ends up being one of the most badass people in the entire series.
Yeah.
And nobody could have predicted
Nobody
that
saw that
to
coming,
come.
huh?
Right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
so you, in real life application, in these crazy times when weird shit happens to us, life's trials and tribulations,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see who stands by you. And I've been getting this question a lot lately. Can I sit down with you and have our conversation? Because I'd love to know how you and your husband have been together for so long.
Wow.
I've had 2 or 3 people ask me that lately.
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody says, "Tell me why you love me." I just do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the list is just so long that it doesn't exist.
Yeah. It and God bless people for asking that because they're inspired, right?
Sure.
But that's not a conversation.
Yeah, I
That is,
don't
that's
know
not
how
a
to
one
answer
conversation.
that.
No, it's like it's like trying to. No. Yes, but how do you answer something that took how many years to build?
24 years. So April 1st will be our 24th anniversary of our first date.
And by the way, Mike, when he was young, he looks like one of the Backstreet Boys. He looks like he should be in a boy band. He was good looking,
Yeah,
dude.
I know.
I'm not saying
He
you're not
still
now,
is
bro.
good looking.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I wasn't gonna say anything because I'm a dude, but I'm just telling you. I'm just saying that, man. Back in the day,
Yeah.
me and Mike had the little earring in. He had was he blue eyes? Dark hair, blue.
He's
good
purdy.
Oh, good Lord.
He's
he had the
purty to
black
look
hair,
at.
the crew cut.
He
Dude,
had the frosted tips.
he had the frosted tips. I saw that picture. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I used to club back in Oklahoma City when I was young with the lead singer of Color Me Bad, Brian Abrams.
Okay.
We used to all go to the clubs together, and he'd be there. And when he got famous, it was just like, where'd Brian go? But he reminds me of Brian Abrams. Did Mike ever? We won't put this out, but did
We're cutting this for sure.
yeah, I'll edit it, I promise.
Yeah.
Did Mike ever get his eyebrows shaped and done? Like, get them shaped.
He did not.
They're just natural like that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
One of my favorite people at Chamber,
Yeah.
he likes to greet people at the front.
Yes.
His eyebrows are on point.
Yes, they are.
Eddie, I love you,
Yes.
brother. I'm not going to say
Yes.
any names, but dude, Eddie's eyebrows are on
Yeah, they are.
point always.
Right.
Always. But I was wondering if Mike did that.
No.
Okay.
No, that would be,
Okay.
I feel like in his world, it would be.
His world, like he's got his own world.
It would be more of a, I don't have time for that. Like, why would that even be a thing? Like his comfortable clothes.
Okay, but
I'm not
he
gonna
has a
wear
unibrow,
clothes that aren't
doesn't he? If
comfortable.
he doesn't shave, does he shave the middle part?
He does not. No.
He does not?
No.
Does he have a natural unibrow, though?
No.
Gosh.
I know.
The guy's
My daughter
he's a
has
Greek
his
god.
eyes and his eyebrows. I cannot tell you how often she gets complimented on her eyes.
Yeah.
And she has flawless skin. Flawless.
Oh, man.
It is insane. I have to go get facials, spend tons of money to make my skin look half as good as hers. And she's got like these tight pores and like very rosy cheeks, but rosy in the right way. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to say one other thing about the inner circle.
Yeah.
I'm a safe person to be in an inner circle with, but you're not safe if you're in my inner circle. You're not. You're going to catch collateral damage. There's going to be collateral damage because when I get hurt, the people in my inner circle hurt with me, and vice versa. I'm a safe person. I'm a very loyal person. But when stuff goes down in my life, you're not safe. You're going to get hurt. And you're either going to get hurt when bad things happen to me, because they're going to happen to you because we're so close. But when I get hurt fighting against things, you're going to get hurt fighting because you're fighting with me. So I'm a safe person, but my circle is not a safe place, if that makes any sense.
Yes. And as you were saying that, I was thinking back to a time just a few short months ago where you went dark for a minute.
Yeah.
And I would check in on you.
Yeah.
And when you didn't answer me, I was panicking. I never once thought, like I do with other people, what did I do wrong? It was always like,
Good.
Is he safe? Is he
Yeah.
like what the heck is going on with this guy? Because I want to make sure that he's safe. And I know you have, Joanne is there for you. Your kids are there for you.
Yeah.
I understand that you have these people there for you. And I know that they do wonderful things for you when, as you need them, and vice versa for you to them. But I think you're absolutely right. In that inner circle, it is a ride or die. It's like that movie clip that they show, and he's like, I can't tell you what we're going to go do, but a lot of people are going to get hurt. And the guy looks at him and he goes,
watched that movie last night.
And he goes, whose car are we taking?
That's right. Yep,
that's my inner circle.
Yeah, same. Mm-hmm. Same.
Not that I'm going to go out and hurt
You're
a
gonna
lot
rob
of
some
people.
banks with Ben Affleck in Boston.
I'm not going to go hurt a lot of people, but that's who my inner circle needs to be. I need to be able to vent to you and trust that you're not going to go to somebody else. I need to be able to have clear communication with you and not fear that I'm going to hear about my own story from somebody else's mouth and you're the only one I told. There's a lot of trust there. And as you get older, I think you discover that in yourself, who you want to have around you.
Yeah.
But you also, it's much more clear, I think, who those people are.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I 100% agree with everything that you just said. And one of the questions I have for you is, why do you think so many people let so many people in their inner circle too quickly? Too quickly. Any idea why people do that? I've done that in the past. I know why
Same.
I did it, but what is your thought on that?
I think for me, it was feast or famine. It was the whole feast or famine thing. I need to have you all as my friends, or I feel like I have no friends. Mm-hmm. Like when you're in high school, the bigger your circle is in high school, the more popular you are, the more safe you feel because the more people you can go to for help or support or whatever.
Is it more that you're accepted by so many people and you belong? Mm-hmm. Right,
I think
Maslow's
so.
hierarchy of needs and all
Sure.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, and I think as you get older, you realize that you don't have to have that many people around you. Mm-hmm. You just don't need them.
Yeah.
Like my wedding when I got married. So Mike and I got married when we were 20. In my wedding, I had a dozen or so people who I had gone to high school with. Mm. I graduated 2 years before we got married, and I insisted they were at my wedding. Of all the people that were at my wedding, my family, my friends, my parents' friends, whomever was there, I would say that there was probably 120 people at the wedding. Mm-hmm. And 4 of them, including family members, I talked to on a weekly basis. And I would say on a yearly basis, it's probably a dozen. And most of those are family members.
Yeah. That's really good.
It's not very many people. I did not need to have that many people at my wedding.
Yeah.
I didn't. And so I'm trying to tell that to my son and his fiance.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who I want at your wedding. Like there's certain, I think, societal things that say that my aunt's second cousin needs to be at your wedding because we're family. Right. But if you've never actually met that person, or if you haven't had a conversation with that person in the last 3 years, let's say, I'm not entirely sure why we have to invite all of them.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Sure.
I'll tell you why you need as many people as possible at a wedding.
Why?
It's not even a religious thing.
Oh, okay.
No.
Why?
If you have a money tree.
Oh, the money dance.
Yeah.
We did the money dance. We made a lot of money.
If you have a money tree, I want my neighbors there. I want their cousins there.
Okay. But why not just save the $95 you're spending on having them at your wedding and adding that to your money tree?
Yeah, if you do the math,
I
people
mean,
typically give a lot of money on those money trees, and
God,
that's,
it's so expensive.
I know.
Weddings are so expensive. It's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you, I used to let anybody in my inner circle, and you touched on why. For me, it was I couldn't be alone. I couldn't be alone because I didn't like me. Number one, I was having all the fun I could have. I mean, I worked I had money, women. I was very promiscuous. I had literally everything a guy could want. Guns. I mean, you name it, I had it. Sports car, 300Z. I mean, I can go right down the list of all the things I had. And yet I had everything a guy could want at my age. And I hated myself.
Yeah.
I had this big hole inside of me. And so I filled it with people. I filled it with women. I filled it with dudes. I filled it with
distractions.
Always being, absolutely.
Yeah.
Constantly distraction from the emptiness that I had. And literally none of it could fill the hole. And so I let anybody and everybody that I knew would even those who didn't like me, I wanted them in my circle. Because however many people I had around me was a direct reflection in my mind of how valuable I am or I'm not. Is my stock up? Is my stock down? Well, how do you know? I have all these friends that are at the club with me. I got all these friends are at my party. And the worst times of my life were when there was nobody in my bed and I slept alone at night by myself and I was alone. I hated myself. I hated my life. I hated everything about it. And so I became very codependent. Without people, I was nothing. I couldn't be alone.
Right.
And that was me for a long time. And then when my personal hell happened, I spent the first 4 months sitting in solitary confinement. 4 months. You really discover who you are and who you're not. Yeah. What you are and what you're not.
I can't even imagine. Like you've described it to me before.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, I can imagine, but I can't. I just.
Well, the point being is, that circle needs to shrink. It has to shrink so you can see clearly.
Absolutely.
With so much fuel in the tank, sometimes you have to run on empty for a while to see just how far you can go without anybody else. And you discover a couple things. One, you know what you're made of. You discover that. You can't discover that in success. You must discover that at rock bottom. At rock bottom, you really find out how strong you really are, how much faith you really have, how much, you can fill in the blank, but you don't know that till you have nothing. You hit that bottom line, and everybody's is different. Everybody's is different. We're all different. Your rock bottom is different from mine. You can have every asset in the world and still hit rock bottom. So you don't have to lose everything, be in a cell and solitary confinement to get rock bottom like I did. That was my rock bottom. Yours was somewhere else. So-and-so's is somewhere else. The bottom line is, though, it's only at rock bottom you really discover how fragile you are, how strong you are, that you need people and what kind of people you need. And the situation tends to weed out the quote-unquote friends on its own. And it's weird. I'm writing a book called Blind Sight 2020, Seeing Perfectly in Dark Times. Because it's in those pitch black moments where you can't see anything, and that enables you to see everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's pretty cool, huh?
Yes.
Isn't it weird how that works?
It
is.
The
complete darkness is when you really see, sometimes for the first time.
Have you ever been to, and maybe you can't do this because it might be a little triggering because you have been in solitary confinement, but have you ever been to a deprivation chamber, like where you get into the water, it's like egg shaped, and you lay in the water?
I've heard of that.
It's incredible, but you are alone with your thoughts. So they give you, the water is neutral buoyancy, so it has the salt in it.
The salt, yeah.
And it's a temperature that is, it's not warm, it's not cold, it just is.
Yeah.
And you lay down in it, and they actually suggest that you do it naked, so you don't have any clothing on whatsoever. So you don't have like your swimsuit bottom pushing in on a certain point. You know, they want
Yeah.
you, no jewelry, nothing. They just yourself.
So are you like completely suspended almost in this
Yeah, and you
salt water?
float neutrally, and then you turn off the lights, and you can have like white noise on or something like that. I choose to have white noise on only to cut out the noise that might happen in the hallway that might
okay.
break it.
Sure.
And then I wear earplugs. So I've only done it one time, so I talk
Yeah.
about it like I do it all the time, and it was incredible. And at the very end, I think I was in there for an hour. At the very end, I started falling asleep. At first, your mind races all the time, all over the place. Like, am I doing this correctly? Am I supposed to be laying like this? Am I supposed to have, is the lid supposed to be open or closed? Is it, I mean, like all these things are like racing through your head.
Yeah.
And then as you start getting more comfortable, you can either let your mind wander to things, or you can like be in meditation mode where you bring it back and
Yeah.
you just meditate. And that's what I chose to do, is just sit there and meditate. And it is incredible how much that stillness is just something your brain just needs. It's like a brainwash,
Yeah.
right? Like a washing of your brain.
Yeah.
And it just feels amazing. I love
Yeah.
it.
So when you say meditate, is it like, are you thinking about anything at all, or are you just blank? Like,
trying to
I mean,
think of nothing.
It's damn near impossible not to think of
Same.
anything at all, right?
Yes.
I don't even know if that's possible, but I'm sure it is. But
Yeah. So it's at first, like I said, your mind is wandering all over the place.
Yeah.
That's how mine does. And you know how we squirrel out all the time. I mean, even just on
Yeah.
this podcast, right?
Right.
And so I bounce all over the place, and I let my mind wander, and then I bring it back.
Yeah.
And then I let it wander a little bit, and I bring it back. Because my goal in being in this, I think it's a deprivation chamber. I think that's the right word for it. My goal in being there is to be clear and not necessarily to make decisions or to come up with new ideas. I want to just be neutral and just be calm. But it would be great.
Is that so the dust, so to speak, settles and you can kind of recalibrate and think of everything in a fresh way?
Yes. For me, it is.
Okay.
I could see you, a person, using it as an idea generator,
Sure.
laying there and just letting your mind go where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And that's great too. It's whatever you want. I would actually like to do it more often. I think it would be incredible.
I have an idea.
Do the podcast from one?
What if we did that? Well, what if they would allow us? Let's do it. Let's take the cameras with us, not to film us naked in salt water. Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not on board with that. I don't care how much you are.
I said no, Jamie. Sorry, too soon.
No means no the first time, Erin. I think we should do it, and I think we should film us going in clothed, and then afterwards that we should do a little interview on the spot. And I think give all the people out there what they want.
Gotcha.
They obviously,
Talking about our experiences there.
yeah,
Yeah.
like on site. I think that'd be cool. But when it comes to what you're talking about recalibrating, what I had to learn to do was I had to learn to do that whole deprivation thing that you're talking about. The same concept. I had to learn how to do that in a room full of 100 guys, regardless
But
of the
you're
noise.
all in your own separate rooms.
No. We were warehoused in one place. This was when I was in prison, in the county jail.
Not in solitary.
No, solitary was
Okay,
completely
okay.
different.
Yeah.
So I went from one bipolar, basically. I went from one extreme to the other. No transition. That was very difficult. But what solitary taught me how to do was, regardless of my own thoughts in my head, I had to learn how to control everything, to be calm, to keep the loneliness away, to keep the anguish away, to keep everything away, and to remain sane. Remaining sane in that position was very, very difficult for me because I'm an extrovert. You may not know that about me. But it was there. That's where I found out. I already knew who I was and what I was capable of, but that really tested that. It confirmed a lot of things, but also learned a lot of new things. But going from that back into a place with 100, 140 guys in one room, constant noise, I was able to sit there regardless of anything that was going on around me and go to that quiet place in the midst of all the noise. And, you know, if you're not able to find that solace, because I can't always find a quiet place, and then what?
Right.
Solitary confinement prepared me for the chaos, and I was able to handle the chaos because of the hell of solitary confinement. It was the worst that prepared me for the next challenge and for the best and for the rest of my life. And that's the thing about having these small circles of friends, is that you discover who's who. And you're not mad at anybody who doesn't fit. Well, maybe a little. And we're only mad because we had expectations. I thought you were this, I thought you were that, and where are you now?
Sure. Yeah.
It's okay. It hurts, absolutely. But you know what? I'm glad they left. I'm glad they cut bait, because now I know. What if I'd have continued on believing they were someone they're not? Now I know. Mm-hmm. And so, like, that's the silver lining you're talking about, you know, with these hard times and people stabbing you in the back, gossip, all these other things. You know what I mean? You have your good cry.
Yeah.
You have your good cry. Then you say, all right, lock and load, let's keep going.
Yep, let's move
I've had
forward.
my cry, I'm done with it, you know?
Yeah. Being an adult's hard. Being a human is hard.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's not as hard as being a slug, though. I mean, 3 days later, I've moved 4 feet if I'm a slug.
Yeah, but
I mean, it could be worse, Erin.
I don't think I could comprehend that I've only moved 4 feet, though, if I was a slug.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A dog would be pretty great. You're just always happy.
Dogs eat their own poop and they lick their own rear ends. I don't think so.
My dog doesn't eat her own poop, but she does lick her own butt.
Is that something you desire? Is that really?
I'm more
have you really thought this through?
I'm more thinking of naps all day, and then you get to see your human, and you're super excited to see your human. Yeah. And then you nap all night.
But have you seen the food they eat? Come on, really? You walked in here with a Big Mac. You really want cat
and a
food?
Milkshake? No.
Yum, 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 yum.
So gross.
Anyway,
but, yeah.
What's left to be said about friendship other than I hope you guys have them. I hope you guys create the boundaries. And I hope you do have circles. You need to get out a piece of paper and put down on one piece of paper everybody who is ride or die that you know of. Mm-hmm. And don't worry, nobody's going to see that piece of paper.
It's for you.
Write it down and then write, okay, these people aren't ride or die. The next piece of paper, okay, these people aren't ride or die, but these people they're pretty close to that. I mean, I trust them, but only so far. You know, they're not like ride or die.
Sure.
Maybe they are, but you don't know it yet. It's okay. Put them on that paper. Then the next level, and then the next level. It's okay. I used to have 6 levels of friends on paper.
Wow.
6 levels.
That's too many to keep track of.
It is.
It's like, how do I behave in this situation versus that situation? That's a lot to...
Well, I relate everything to like sports and basketball. I have my starting 5. I know who my starting 5 is. I know who's going to come off the bench and help me out when I need the help.
Sure.
I know who's going to be there. Maybe not thick and thin, but the starting 5, those are the ones. Those are the ones that are going to go to battle with me. They will die for me. The reserves that come in, they're almost there. They're almost starting 5, but they're not quite there yet. And then the rest of the bench, maybe they're in, maybe they're out. So I use analogies like that. And I think it's a pretty good analogy. Yeah. You know, if you're into sports, you can make it whatever else. But sure. It could be workers, coworkers, employees, whatnot. But you know who's who on your team. When you run a business, you own a business. You know who. I know who's who on my team.
Right.
I know who they are and who they're not.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
So are we giving our listeners homework then? Write down your...
Yeah, I mean, if you're smart, you're going to do this.
Write it down.
If you're smart, you're going to do what I just told you to do, what we're telling you to do, because, listen, if you don't do that and you just let anybody in to your inner circle and you get stabbed in the back, that's on you. It's on you. You didn't ask for the crime. You didn't ask for the crime, okay? You didn't cause the crime, but you dang well gave them opportunity. You might as well unlock the front door and leave your vehicle unlocked in the front. Might as well put your computer in the front seat. You know
that's
what I'm
one thing.
Did that really happen with somebody?
It happens to people all the time.
Okay, but nobody you personally know, like
No,
off the computer,
no,
and okay, good,
no.
because I didn't want to offend them. But
No.
hey,
It's
not your fault.
It's an
but
example
you
that happens
kinda,
all the time, though.
yeah,
All the time.
yeah, you got to
Yeah.
protect yourself.
I was gonna say something I forgot. Oh, I tend to overshare, especially when somebody's new in my circle.
Me too.
So I try that's one thing I'm working on, is trying really hard not to overshare. Just this.
Yeah.
This is all you get.
Well, so I do it
This is all you
sometimes
get
on
until I can
purpose.
trust you, because I have found that there's people in my life that I'm not entirely sure I can trust you.
Yeah,
And so it used to be, I trust you completely until you do me wrong, and now
Yeah.
now I do the opposite, because
I was the same way.
I trust very easily.
I do too. I abandoned that whole concept.
Yeah.
That is not wise.
No.
Now, I will respect you,
Yeah.
and then you can chip away at it if you'd like. But
But the whole. Yep.
no,
Yep. Same page, friend.
yeah, I know. It's tough because the only way you find out who's who, you have to give them time and rope to hurt you and to hang you. It's like you're
hang themselves. I don't.
you're handing them a murder weapon.
Yeah.
When it comes to like relationship.
Sure.
Here's a murder weapon.
Yeah. Here you go.
And you turn your back
see what
on
you
them
do with it.
intentionally. You know, sometimes I will overshare too much as a tactic to find out who they are.
Okay. So share something that you haven't really shared with anybody else,
Yeah.
and see if it gets around.
A lot of guys, especially guys, one of the first things I'll talk about is I'll notice their tattoo or something. I say, "Oh man, that's nice work. Can I show you my prison tattoo?" They're like, "What?" And then they don't talk to me anymore.
Yeah.
Good. I don't want to talk to you, because you're just not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll give somebody something very abrasive about me, not to them or towards them, but something abrasive and very wide open about me, because I want you to know up front what you're dealing with. I want you to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
My story. Guilt or innocence is irrelevant at that point. Some people, if you've been through a divorce or you have been through some sort of lawsuit or you've been to prison, whether you were innocent or not, people don't care.
There's a stigma.
A lot of people don't. There's a stigma. And that's a stink that you have to live with the rest of your life. And here's the thing. I have stink on me. Deserve it or not, doesn't matter. I have stink on me. And if you don't like that smell, then keep walking. Don't need you in my life. You're not that important.
Right.
You're just not. You think you are, but you're not that important. Like I said, there's 8 billion people on this earth. I can do without you. I've gone this long.
Yeah. Go find your people.
Yeah, go find your people.
It's interesting when you share something like that with somebody. And I was saying this earlier, is I need you to be a good enough friend where if you hear a rumor about me or you hear somebody saying something not kind about me, that you come to me and get my side of the story before you cast judgment. Because if you're the person that's going to hear those things, cast judgment, not ask me, you're in that I might do business with you circle. You don't get to come into my two other inner circles because you don't have enough respect for me to try to understand my point of view. Then I don't want anything to do with you. Go fuck off.
Yeah. Why would you waste your time?
Right.
Why would you waste your time with those people? Same. I mean, there have been times where, there was a time where, and I know that we're exposing our friendship a little bit here. We won't get into great detail. I heard something about you. It made me angry, not towards you, because I'm very protective of you. I'm very protective of everybody in my inner circle. And what did I do?
You stuck up for me. You asked me. You said, "Hey,
How long
what about
how
this
long
thing?"
did I wait to contact you when I heard this?
Seconds.
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 I'm not screwing
Like,
around.
hey, call me right now. I believe you were in a locker room sitting on the naked couch.
I was not on the naked couch. I don't sit on the naked. Okay, so now I've got to explain the whole thing. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back as a great friend to you. I am a great friend to you. I'm an asset to you.
Right. Yes, you are.
You're an asset to me. I know for a fact that would have been reciprocated.
Yes.
Now, to the naked couch. There is a couch at the club where I work out. It's a black leather couch. I don't think it's real leather. God, I hope not. Where guys, especially
in the locker room. In the locker room. I think that's a good piece of the information that they need.
Yeah. So in the locker room, the men's locker room, there's this couch. It's a very comfortable couch, but I never sit on it anymore.
How do you know it's okay. I was gonna say, how do you know it's comfortable?
I used to sit on it, and then so I did send them an email and I said, I need to know you guys are wiping this thing down like 8 times a day. Okay. But guys, especially, okay. All guys, but especially, this is going to sound so bad. I'm going to sound so mean, but especially very large gentlemen and or very old gentlemen will get through working out. They're completely sweaty. I'm sorry for the visual at a time. Go ahead and turn the podcast off if you don't want to hear this.
No, don't turn it off. You have to go through it if I have to go through it.
Suffer with your friends. Please. We are your friends. Yes. You are in our inner circle. Okay. They will sit on this completely sweaty, completely naked, and watch television. Not after they showered.
And watch TV?
There's a flat screen TV. We keep sports on in there.
Oh, that's a different level of weird.
Well, so I don't sit on that couch. Wait, how did the couch come up again?
Because you called me from the locker room after you were working out because you received some information about me.
Yeah.
And you needed to talk to me.
Right.
Because I am in your inner circle. And that's what people do is they go to the person that's being talked about.
Yes.
To get the information from the horse's mouth and not from anywhere else.
Not 6 hours later, not 3 days later.
It's not a rumor cycle. It is confirming or clearing up the situation immediately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because like with anyone in my inner circle, if my friend and I hear what I hear, whether they did something right and they're just being falsely accused or they did something wrong and it caught up to them, irrelevant to me. Irrelevant. Mm-hmm. If you're in that inner circle, I got your back. I'll walk through it with you if you've done something wrong. I will protect you if you've done something right. Either way, I'm here. But before I was accused of sitting on the naked couch, I was in the locker room. I had just gotten off the treadmill and I had just received that information. And immediately there was the text. It's like, got a minute?
Yeah. Can you talk?
Kind of a deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you need to know who those people are in your life. And whether you feel like it or not, if they're in your inner circle, you drop whatever it is the heck that you're doing because they are worth it, because your inner circle, because it is small and should be small. Those people are so valuable that you have got to drop what you're doing and reflect that value with time. That's the most wonderful thing you can give someone in your inner circle is your time. It's limited. I don't have a lot of it, but for certain people, I make time for it.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so
that's what the inner circle's for.
That's what the inner circle's for. Mm-hmm. Can we beat this dead horse anymore? There's so much more that can be said about this whole friendship thing.
So yes, I think we can beat the dead horse more.
How long have we been going here?
Forever. I think it's time to say goodbye.
Is it?
It was about an hour and a half almost.
I don't know. It didn't seem like it, not with us. I mean, like when we get going, man. What do you want to do? Do you want to close us out? Or?
Riled up. Yeah, let's close this out.
All right. Well,
what do you want to say?
Do you want to close it out or you want me to close it out?
You close it out today. I always close it out.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the No Direction podcast. You can catch us at all the information below. Like and subscribe. Smash that like. I don't know.
Yes,
that's what the kids say. Smash that.
Is that what they say
I don't
now?
think they say it anymore. I did it the other day. I told my daughter that the other day. And she goes, "Dad, nobody says that anymore."
Quit being cringy.
Yeah, don't get me started on cringy and when guys are trying to meet girls. Man, I'm going to bring it up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
Erin, here's a problem I have. with today's society, especially you ladies, if a guy hits on a girl, you know, he's interested, he approaches her,
Sure.
and he's good looking, the girl has no issue with it. She's like, oh, hi. Okay. You probably don't do it that way, but if he's
Only
not
when I'm
good
saying
looking,
no.
if he's not good
Gotta be
looking or
polite.
attractive to her, now he's cringy and creepy. What's that about? Both guys did the same thing. They both approached her. They both asked her out or asked for her number,
Right.
whatever. One, she's flattered by, the other one is now creepy and cringy and maybe some sort of deviant.
Well, I think I don't think it's just a female thing. I
Probably
think it's
not.
also a male thing. I mean, you were saying at the very
Nope, you're wrong. We are completely flattered. I don't care what she looks like. If she hits on us, I got hit on at Walmart. What was it, Walmart? By a Walmartian. Looked at me, said, no. That was another time. But I get hit on a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I mean?
No, but okay.
No, I was at where we did the midget wrestling. I was there.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife was with me. We were at a birthday party, and there
Oh,
was a live
I saw
band.
you guys were there.
Yeah. And so I'm out there dancing, and this lady came up to me. She goes, "Are you here with somebody?" I'm just. Are you here with somebody? She was not good looking, Erin. She was not good. Not that that's the only way but I'm just saying that.
Okay.
If I were single, I would not have been as flat. But listen,
Yeah.
the fact that somebody noticed me, and I'm a married man,
You're
had a
right.
ring on and everything, I got hit on. It felt good.
Yeah. You're a cloud nine.
No, she literally had no chance whether I was single or not, because she's just not my type. But man, I can tell you what, in most situations, that's not cringy to me. I'm like,
Okay, so let's press the rewind button on this episode. We're going all the way back to
we
the
have to
beginning.
come full circle, Erin.
Remember when you said, because I had said that women interfight with each other based on what we're wearing and looks and things like that.
Yeah.
And you said it's different for men. For men, it's how much money do you have? What kind of job you have? How
Yeah.
hot is your wife?
Yeah.
Okay, just saying. Bye. We'll see you next time. Is it on me? It's on me. It's
Yeah,
on
it's
me.
on you.
It's on me. Follow all the things. Smash that button. I don't care if you think it's cringy or not. Peace out.
See you next time.
Bye.
See, I just totally restarted. Oh, crap.
Shut up.